Hi, my name is Matt Hames, and I'm the Associate Vice President for Digital and Social Strategy at 3 Enrollment Marketing. Today, I'm here to talk about one of the bigger of the social platforms. So, as the social media strategist at 3 Enrollment Marketing, it's my job to look at how social platforms impact the marketing in higher education. Right now, a whole bunch of people are turning to Google and Googling your school. And when they search for your school by name, so when they do a brand query, search for your school by name, they get a search engine results page. That search engine results page always, always, always has the main Facebook page on it. I've never Googled a school and not seen the main Facebook page on it. I've Googled a ton of schools and I've never seen the admissions Facebook page. I've almost never seen Student Life Facebook page, but I have seen the main Facebook page. The main Facebook page is often the first social platform on a search for the school. So whether you think it's important or not, it is important. It is deemed important by Google, and thus that main Facebook page makes the front page of a search for your school by brand. Now, you probably think that when somebody searches for a school, they're just going to click on the .edu. It's the first hit almost always, right? But I've looked at the data for a lot of different schools, and only about 2 to 3 people who do a brand search for the school. So search for it by name, and you can only search for something by name if you're aware of the school. And we can also assume in that current students and alumni are not searching for the school by name. They're searching more specifically for things like school course catalog or school reunion dates or whatever, right? So it's more likely prospective students and families who are doing a brand query right now as they are considering what schools to attend. So about 2 out of 3 click on the .edu at the top, meaning 7 or 8 people click somewhere else on the search engine results page. I know it sounds like really super frustrating to make a website and then have only like 2 people who are kicking the tires at your school click on that website. But Facebook is also one of your websites. And so it is definitely a behavior amongst the newly aware or very considered people who are under high consideration to attend your school to look at your Facebook page. So it's worth really understanding what Facebook is doing. Here on this screen, here on this screen right here, this is live, folks. Here on this screen is the Q1 report from Facebook. I'm not going to read it to you, but I am going to read one important part here. I'm going to read what I think is really important for you to understand. Mark Zuckerberg says in his February 1st report, and you can just go to Facebook and read this yourself, or you can, if you want, you can also, I'm going to link to it on my LinkedIn. You can follow me on LinkedIn and you can read this anyway. But this is what he writes. Facebook and Instagram are shifting from being organized solely around people and accounts you follow to increasingly showing more relevant content recommended by our AI systems. So let me translate this for you. When Facebook launched, and forever, it's always been this: like our Facebook page to see how you'll fit in on our campus. Follow us on Instagram to see how you'll fit in on campus. So our call to action was like our Facebook page. Early on, it was become a fan. Then it switched to like. So like our Facebook page to see X. So the English department Facebook page on your campus says, like our Facebook page to see how you'll succeed being an English major. Like our career services page to see what you're going to do when you graduate. So the model was you got to follow, and then the content, the organic content that you put on that page, then was distributed out to the people who liked your Facebook page. So step 1, like. Step 2, make content that got distributed out to the feeds. Well, Facebook is moving away from step 1 and just going to step 2. So is Instagram. So what does that mean for schools? It means essentially that if a school can create organic content targeted towards prospective students and families, the AI is more likely to deliver that content to interested parties. So will it automatically, like if you just did a post on the Facebook page and said, you should really consider depositing at our school, that's not marketing content, right? That's not, there's nothing clever about it. There's nothing engaging about it. It's just asking for the order. And social platforms are not ask for the order kinds of platforms. Remember, our previous call to action was follow our Facebook page to see how you'll fit in here, right? Not follow our Facebook page so we can tell you how to deposit. So it's not necessarily just making content that is call to action-y, but it is certainly making content that drives people to the .edu to say, here's how to find more about dorms, here's how to find more about the food, here's how to find more about student life. So it is thinking about that. But what it's also thinking about is using the Facebook Meta ecosystem to deliver content that is right at the right time. So again, the number of people who follow you has never, like 13 to 17-year-olds, which is often the undergraduate market that we're looking for, almost never followed the main Facebook page. They didn't do the call to action that we were asking for, like our page to see how you'll fit in here. Didn't work. First of all, it feels like if I like this, I'm just, my Facebook, assuming I have it, my Facebook feed is just going to be full of schools saying how awesome they are. And my Instagram feed is also going to be full of schools saying how awesome they are. And I'm just not in the mood for that. I'd rather go look at that myself. So that call to action was never going to work anyway. But making content on your feeds that is designed to be targeted to prospective students and families, according to Mark Zuckerberg's Q1 report right here, according to Mark Zuckerberg's Q1 report that you can read if you just follow Mark Zuckerberg on Facebook. It's a follow that I think you should do. What he's saying inside of this is that they are moving away from the follow graph. So theirs was a follow graph. They're moving away from that, and they're moving to a true social graph. They're moving to relevant content to relevant people at the relevant time. Right now, relevant content on social platforms, especially Facebook and Instagram, to a whole bunch of people who are considering coming to your school is how you'll fit in here as a student. That's relevant content. Is it easy to make? No, of course not. Like, you can't just carry on making content every week. That's like, here's how you'll fit in here. Here's how you'll fit in here. But when you start to think about the kinds of content that people would be interested in, you can start to think about the kind of content that you can make on your platform that can be targeted back to those 13 to 17-year-olds. I say 13 to 17-year-olds because that's the category in Facebook, but really we're talking about 17-year-olds, right? So your content can be targeted to 17-year-olds and their families on Meta's platforms. And then the last thing that I'll say is when you read this Q1 report, you'll see that Facebook just passed 2 billion daily active users. So each day on Meta, there are 2 billion active people. So often people say to me, nobody's using Facebook. No 17-year-old is using Meta's platforms. And I just look at numbers. That's all. I'm not making an argument because I don't know. You don't know. Facebook is making a ton of money. Facebook has 2 billion active users. When I look at the data for our partner schools, the number one social platform driving traffic to the .edu is Facebook by a factor of sometimes 10. So it drives 10 times the traffic to the .edu than all the other platforms. Sometimes it drives more traffic than all the other platforms combined. That's every other platform: WordPress, Yelp, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram Stories, Snapchat, all those platforms combined don't equal the amount of traffic that Facebook drives to the .edu. So is it dying? I don't know, maybe. Is it dead? No, definitely not. And as the algorithm changes from a follow graph to a social graph, if you are able to make content on any page, it doesn't matter anymore. It could be the career services page, it could be the main Facebook page, it could be an athletics page. It doesn't really matter anymore. You can have multiple pages if you want. You're in competition. Understand that those are in competition for content that is going to go to the prospective student, and they're not all going to win. You can't just make content and be like, Matt Haim said that the social graph was changing, and if I just make content for prospective students, the AI will send it to them. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that Mark Zuckerberg is saying that they're moving from a follow graph to a content graph. Your content just can't suck. If it sucks, it's not going to go anywhere. So you have to be creative, you have to be clever, you have to be interesting, you have to be engaging, but you don't have to ask people to follow you now in order for them to see the content. And that's a massive, massive shift on these platforms. I spend a lot of time talking about this in the 3E Digital Lab when I present to schools and tell them the ideas that I think will work. In fact, I made a 30-minute video on how enrollment can use Facebook, knowing that this shift happened because Facebook announced this shift last February. So they're a year into this. And instead of last February, they announced that about 25% of the content was going to go on the was going to move away from the follow graph and go to the content graph. This time in this February 1st, 2023 report, they just said, we're moving, meaning like there's no percentage anymore. This is it. This is the shift. The shift is away from if your main Facebook page has 25,000 people who like it or follow it or whatever, great, doesn't matter. Your content can go to anybody. So that's the big shift. So what do you think? What do you think about this? Where do you think Meta fits in? Where do you think these devices fit into the conversation? Because you'll read in that AI is a huge important thing for them. And they're talking about how to bring people, not AI, VR, I mean, they're talking about how to bring the metaverse. They renamed themselves Meta, right? So they're talking about bringing the metaverse to their apps, to the desktop. Mark even says in this report that more and more people are going to experience the metaverse in a mobile phone first, which is really interesting. So Facebook is not just expecting people to experience the metaverse in this, they're anticipating that people are going to experience the metaverse in this, which I think is really interesting and something to follow. So again, it's just experiences. But anyway, what do you think? How do you think this is all going? Where do you think Meta fits into the strategy for higher education? This is a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about in the marketing track at the Institute for Higher Education, June 4th to 8th in Clearwater Beach. I'm the track leader. I'm wearing just my 3E gear right now, but we'll be wearing nice clothes, being in Clearwater. We're going to have conversations about social platforms, where they fit in the consideration phase, where they fit in for touring. We're going to do some VR tours, which is going to be really cool. We're going to talk about podcasting. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. So if you're interested, visit 3enrollment.com/institute, upper or lowercase, it doesn't matter. 3enrollment.com/institute, and take a look at the agenda. This is the kinds of things that we're going to talk about. How social platforms are changing, how the algorithms deliver content, how you get content in front of prospective students and families on social platforms. It's my job at 3E to understand that. It's my job to tell you and our partners how to best make content that does that. So definitely consider coming to our marketing platform or the marketing track at the Institute for Higher Education, or consider just reaching out to me and say, what do you mean? What does this content graph mean? It just means simply your content targeted towards prospective students can get there organically and not just paid. And I think that's pretty exciting. So anyway, that's the end. Again, my name is Matt Hames. This has been a 3Enrollment marketing production. And we hope that you take a look at the Institute. That's 3enrollment.com/institute. And we hope to see you there. Talk to you soon. Bye.